It's not that fun to do it alone. Happy New Year, book babes. Oh, I'm so excited. 2026 is going to be our year and I'm pumped for it. Today's vlog is going to be me reading my first books of the year. I feel like nothing beats the first week of January because you just have such a fresh wind, a new excitement. Your motivation is at its peak. What you guys all came for is reading. So we're gonna start with my reading stats. I wanna read 54 books this year. Last year I read 53, so adding one more isn't too crazy. On average, I usually read about 60 to 65 books a year. Last year was obviously less than normal, and just knowing what I experienced, knowing what I faced, obviously we were expecting a dip, so that's why I put my goal so low. But this next year, I am a little cautious to go back to what it usually is. So I'm just gonna leave it low, and that's pretty attainable for me. I wanna focus on series, specifically my fantasy series. I feel like I buy those the most, and I don't read them like at all because I psych myself out and think I'm not a good enough reader for them. So I definitely want to focus on my fantasy series. I want to prioritize my physical TBR, which is where most of my fantasy series sits on. So that'll be like super crucial. I like only want to read off of my physical TBR this year. And my last like personal resolution, I guess, is I want to finish the Bible. I started last year at this time going through the Bible on my own, like reading the Bible and not going to podcasts, not going to social media, like just strictly, it's just me and God straight up reading the word and allowing whatever he says to me and writing that in my Bible, because I felt like my whole walk with God was just other people's opinions and other people's interpretation of scripture, and it got to a point where I didn't even know how to read the Bible and infer what it was saying, or I also didn't know how to go to the word and understand what God was trying to speak to me. I would go to the word, read it, and go, oh, I remember a sermon where so-and-so said this. It was never, oh, I'm reading this word and this is what God is depositing in me. So I made an active effort last year to start like it's just me and God reading his word, and whatever he tells me is whatever I take in and I leave quiet time with. I feel like my faith has grown so much. Granted, I did have so much that happened in 2025 that your faith had to grow from that. That's all my resolutions. I hope you guys liked it. Also, I hope that one of my book boyfriends becomes a real human boy and dates me. So we are going to be starting 2026 with Battle of the Bookstores. I'm so excited, guys. This is a modern day retelling of You've Got Mail. If you're not familiar with You've Got Mail, you guys should definitely go watch it. It's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. You guys have to go watch it. But this book is a modern day retelling of that. They will still have the online pen pal element, which I think is so cool. And I think that was like way before its time with You've Got Mail. So Battle of the Bookstores, we are following Ryan and Josie, and they are on the same street with two competing bookstores. For some reason, they merged the bookstores. Now the friction comes in Josie and Ryan both vying for a managerial position. So it's different, but very similar. And I'm so excited because we are following two characters that love books. So I'm going to be reading a book about book people, which I don't know if that's considered a trope, but anytime I read a book where the main characters are bookworms, I'm obsessed. This book is also on my top 26 of 2026 reads, so we're going to get her done. I am a little under 230 pages, so for sure over halfway. I have like 160 pages left in the book. I am for sure finishing this baby today. I'm getting ready to head to Starbucks, and I'm gonna do a Bible study with my friends and then hopefully get some food because I'm starving. And then from there, come home and finish the book. I think this book is doing a phenomenal job of setting up the characters and the love story, because for the first like 170 pages, I was getting to know Josie and I was getting to know Ryan. And so now I'm at the point in the book where I'm getting to know what them together will potentially look like. And that's really cool. That's really exciting, because I feel like so many times I'm left wanting to see more of who they are as a couple, or I want to know more about who they are as individual people. And a lot of times I feel like romance books, sometimes they lack that. And I feel like this book, the pacing is so perfect. I will say, reading this at my house, not the vibe. You need to be at a bookstore, at a coffee shop. You need to be somewhere out in the wilderness reading the book, because this book has such community vibes. And I honestly, reading the book, I felt a little lonely at times. I feel a little lonely because I'm sitting in here and I'm like, this is not the vibe, because we're talking about these two energetic bookstores and I'm just in my living room like a loser. Writing style is so funny and it flows. It's so easy to visualize. Like in my mind, I have both bookstores made up and how they look completely different. But not only that, but she has such a beautiful way of writing tension. I'm reading the book and like my heart's racing with whatever interaction they're having, or I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. Well, I'm gonna head to Starbucks to get coffee and do Bible study. Finished the book. It's off my top 26 of 2026, guys. I now have 25 books left on that. I am rating this book 4.25 stars. It was going to have a 5, and then about halfway through it started getting a little bit spicy, and that's not really my cup of tea. And before you guys say anything of like, oh, you should have checked beforehand, like, chillax. I lost a little bit for that because I skipped, I think like 3 different scenes, and that's a lot. But like I mentioned earlier in this video, I loved getting to know Josie and Ryan individually, and then I loved getting to see them progress as a couple. I think this was a fantastic and funny retelling of You've Got Mail. I feel like it really did it justice in a modern way. So I found it to be really, really fun, and I didn't find it to be... Addie, that's my pin! That's my pencil! Get away! Leave the... No! You don't eat my pencils! Here's my bad dog that's in trouble. I loved the natural progression of their relationship. It felt very real to me. So if you're looking for a winter or fall book that has like peak vibes, this is a really good book to read. So this was a super fun and super quick read. I will say that I felt like it should have been 50 pages shorter, just because there was a little bit of like a dip in the pacing and the plot. Like whenever you say, hey, this is a really good book, you should read it, and then he does read it, it's like, that's who I want to marry. I'm going to update my reading journal with the stats for my first book of the year. I'm so excited. Well, I have no idea what the next book is going to be. That's going to be something so exciting for me to find out tomorrow. Actually, no, not even tomorrow, because I have the gym, then I have work, then I have dinner, then I'm going to Sky Zone with my friends, which I'm super excited about. We're going to the night block, which is the glow in the dark block, and I'm thrilled. I cannot wait. So all to be said, I have a very booked and busy day, so I definitely have to not start a book tomorrow whenever I don't have time to do so. I love you guys, and I'll see you probably Saturday. Bye! Hey y'all, and happy Saturday. I am so excited to just have a day of rest, guys. Yesterday was crazy. So today I'm kind of taking it easy, doing like a little bit of a chill day. I went to my Orange Theory class this morning at 10. That was fun. I normally don't go that late in the day. It was nice to sleep in a little bit, but I definitely like getting up and immediately going to the gym. So that was just like, I'm probably never gonna do that again. Because I just like going so early in the morning. So I'm definitely gonna not make that change. What I'm gonna do now is I am making vision boards with my friend today at 3 at a coffee shop, and I'm so excited. So I went to Target today. I picked up the frame. I picked up cute little stickers and like washi tapes and stuff. So that's gonna be really cute today. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go on Pinterest, find my vision pictures, and then place an order at CVS. And then I'm gonna shower, and then honestly, y'all, I'm just gonna sit here and read until I have to go. Also, look, we groomed him, and because he did so good, I have a lobster for him. Oh, he almost fell. Have a cute little lobster. It's from the Valentine's Day collection at Target. And he's my lobster. So I got him do you like it? Do you like your lobster? Do you like your lobster? Hey. So fam, I have my book bag ready to go. It is stocked full of all this good stuff. In the bag, I have scissors, glue, tape, the frame that I'm gonna be putting stuff in. My friend Celine is picking up my, the poster board that I'm gonna be gluing stuff to, so I don't have that in there. I have a book. I don't foresee myself reading, but just in case. And then I have a couple of my sticker books in there for us to use and share. I don't know if people will want stickers on their version. I don't know, but if I have it, so I want to provide it. I also got an extra large Walmart bag for us to put our paper scraps in it. I feel like it'd be different if we were going to somebody's house and making our vision boards, but we're going to a coffee shop for the vibe and the aesthetic, which is going to be so fun. But the last thing I want to do is leave a mess or have the workers look at us and be like, you really just came here and made a mess. So I'm bringing a trash bag for us because I refuse to leave our table worse than we found it. I'm gonna go pick up my photos that I got from CVS, and then also my tree is still up, guys, don't judge me. Oh my gosh, if my grandma was still alive and she saw that my tree was still up, I'd be getting a fat spanking. I'm home and I did my vision board. You guys have already seen it because I showed you the clip. No matter what, before I leave for work every single day, I am getting my keys over here and I'm walking past this out the door, and I feel like this is just such a fun place to put it. My favorite picture is of this girl laying her hands on kids as they pray. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. So I'm gonna go start reading my book. So I managed to get 169 pages into the book, and my new butterfly bookmarks are so cute. I feel like I am flying through it because I know what to expect. I mean, if you read the book of Esther and you go into this book, I feel like you have a general idea of what the timeline's going to be. And Aaron Phillips, who's the author, is staying so true to that timeline. And I genuinely feel like I'll be reading the book. This happened 3 different times. I'm reading the book and I'm like, oh, I wonder whenever this is gonna happen. Boom, it happened 2 pages later. And I had that happen 3 times. So the timeline that I know of Esther is she's doing a really, really good job. I no longer am going to say that this is a retelling of Esther because it's not. The timeline and the plot are Esther's story, but there's been a couple creative liberties that have taken place, which I'm fine. To each their own. Everybody can take creative liberties. That's absolutely okay. But I think to say that this is a retelling of Esther is not true, especially given the differences that's going on. So one of my favorite characters of Esther's story is Mordecai, her uncle. And he is this godly man who leads with passion for God and compassion for people, which I think that's such a beautiful trait. However, in this book, the uncle in this book is selfish and evil and the polar opposite of who we know Mordecai to be from the Bible. So that part is kind of frustrating me because Mordecai is such a important role in Esther's story. That's missing. Roxana seems a little, I don't want to say firm, but I'm thinking of what's the opposite of firm? She just seems a little relaxed and chill whenever it comes to her faith, and that's not the Esther that I know to be. Esther is a firm girl in her word every day. She knows Jesus. She has full and complete trust in Jesus. And okay, well, I guess I shouldn't say Jesus because Esther doesn't know Jesus. Esther knows God. So I guess that's my frustration as well, is Roxana isn't accurately depicting who Esther is, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go make dinner and read. I got to part 2, which is titled The Queen. I'll catch up with you guys when I'm done with the book. Okay guys, update. I am on my way to go see Avatar. I am so excited. I'm wearing blue. I genuinely wanted to paint my face blue, but then I saw that they like don't let you in if you face paint on. I get it. So I just opted for like this blue sweatshirt that I feel like makes me look really good. Since we last chatted, I've read 30 more pages in A Crown of Chains and I still really like it. I'm gonna go see Avatar and you guys will get my review after. My friend's here. Hey guys, I'm back from Avatar. Oh my goodness, that film was so cinematically perfect. It was so worth the wait. It was so phenomenal. I just went to a normal one. I honestly, low-key, I was scared and I didn't do the 3D or like there's a version at my theater where you can do, where your seat like vibrates or whatever with the movie. I was scared at some points watching the regular one. So I feel like if I did 3D or the 4D chair thing, game over, game over. Ultimately though, such a fun film. I feel like the plot was so good. As a Christian, I saw so many themes of Jesus and the Bible. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I really feel like you could make a sermon out of this movie. There was so much depth in there. Even if you go to the movie and hate the plot, you're going to fall in love with the visuals and how easily transported you are to Pandora. And I will go back. I have a little bit less than 200 pages. I legitimately have 190 pages left. So I'm gonna get reading. It's 11 p.m. at night. I'm not going to bed until I finish this book. Love you guys. I'm gonna go read. I finished A Crown of Chains last night at 12:30 a.m. So I still counted this book for being finished on January 4th. Even though clockwise it was January 5th, I'm saying January 4th because I didn't sleep. Therefore, it's not January 5th yet. I am also rating this book 4.25 stars. It was so good in such a different way. If we take the Bible retelling part out, this book was phenomenal. The plot was good. The characters were good. It was just fast-paced enough. There was a dip in pacing in the middle. I don't really know for how long that took. It was like last night whenever I started reading, I just felt like it took me a lot longer to get like really into the story. But still, it was really well done and I really did enjoy reading this book. It was so much fun. Now adding in the Bible part, I genuinely think if I wasn't told this was a Bible retelling, I would have probably rated this book a 5-star because a lot of my issues with the book are the fact that it's not like a Bible retelling and the fact that you're going to base this book off of Esther, but you're going to change 2 incredibly real parts. That's my only thing, if that makes sense. I loved Roxana as a character, but the fact that she was supposed to be our Esther, her faith to me did not reflect Esther's at all. Esther was a firm in her faith, an unwavering woman of God throughout the entire story. That's what makes her so incredible, is that she had so much faith. And Roxana's wavered. There were a couple times where we heard her in a monologue and it was like why would we even pray right now? And I'm just like, what? Why should we pray? That's exactly when you should be praying. For Roxana to be based off of Esther, Roxana's faith should not be something that I'm commenting on. And the fact that I am is a negative, in my opinion. I should be sitting here saying Roxana's faith resembled Esther's. And I'm not saying that. Therefore, I feel like the biggest point of an Esther retelling is gone. So I did love this book. I just probably won't be recommending it as a retelling. I'm going to change my verbiage so that people have a more realistic expectation whenever they enter into this book. But needless to say, they need to enter this book because this book was so well done. And I think a lot of the side characters had faith that we need to be resembling as people. Even though they're a side character, like their faith stood out to me. And, you know, I'm a side character in everybody's life, but I want my faith to stand out too. So I think if anything, I took a lot of inspiration from the side characters and how I want to lead my life. I am leaving to go play pickleball in an hour. I'm obviously already dressed. I dressed back into a workout fit for tonight and I'm so thrilled. I am leaving in like 30 minutes. The next book I want to start is The Night Ends with Fire. This is a Mulan retelling. I guess I have something for the retellings today because we had a You've Got Mail modern retelling, we've had an Esther retelling, and now we're having a Mulan retelling. So I guess that's just 2026. It's just a year of retelling my favorite things. I love that. I love Mulan. Shang is so hot. I'm gonna go play pickleball and then I'll catch up with y'all later. Bye. so it is Wednesday, January 7th at night. I have not chatted with you guys for 2 days, but in those 2 days I have finished 2 books. So far this year, I've read 4 books in total, 3 of which are from my top 26 of 2026, taking them off my physical TBR. Let's go! And then one of them is an audiobook. I started an audiobook yesterday just to like drive to and from work, and then I ended up listening to a lot of it because I got hooked on it. And I listened to 5 hours of it yesterday, and then I listened to the remaining 4 today. And that book is You Deserve to Know, and it is a murder mystery thriller book. We're following 3 friends who live on a cul-de-sac, and they're moms together. They live together. The 3 families are like best friends. Them and their husbands are best friends. One of the husbands ends up being murdered, and then all of this drama comes to light. Affairs, murder plots, blackmailing, everything you can think of starts happening to these poor people. And you are just taken on this roller coaster of a plot of who can I trust, who can I not trust, what is going on. And it was really, really good. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars. Plot was really good. The characters were really fun. One of my favorite things about how the characters were written was that each of them had a super big insecurity, and based on which one they had is how they acted. And I think that portrayed really, really well. I feel like I got to know each character very deeply. It was also cool to get to see them interact with each other and be like, you are so fake, because I know your thought process, I know the truth. And that was really cool to know the behind the scenes and watching them interact. I feel like a lot of murder mysteries, you're told everything from an outside perspective, and then at the very end there's a switch and you get to know their innermost thoughts. But in this book, you knew everybody's innermost thought, and you knew how they were interacting fakely with each other, which I feel like added such a tension-riddled plot, but it was really fun to read. The only reason why this book is 3.5 stars is because of the writing style. I was not a big fan of the writing style. I found it to be super confusing, and the fact that I was listening to it as an audiobook, I felt like did not help. So that was really the only thing. And the other thing is, while yes, it hooked me, I just felt like there was so much that went on. You know, we're following 3 families. There's 2 different plots happening. And it was a lot. I think it was done well. It just wasn't a 5-star for me. I think if the writing style was different and I physically read it, I would have had a completely different reading experience. But alas, that did not happen. Then I finished The Night Ends with Fire. This is the book without the dust jacket, so the cover looks a little different right now. This is the Mulan retelling. It was pretty dang good, y'all. It was pretty good. I'm giving this book a 4 stars. I felt like it was awesome. The pacing, the plot, the characters, I just felt like it was very whimsical and atmospheric, and I wanted to trust everybody and I wanted to trust nobody at the same time. So that was really fun for me. I felt like with every page something new was revealed, and I was wanting to really like that character, and then something new would pop up and I'd be like, no, I can't trust you. I really enjoyed reading through those ups and downs and going through it with our main character. The only reason why this book isn't a 5-star or rated any higher is simply because when I wasn't reading this book, I wasn't thinking about it and I wasn't wanting to jump back into it, if that makes any sense. I feel like whenever a book is a 5-star read, there is nothing in my life that I want to do more than sit and read that book. And while once I was in this book, I was in the book, but I did have to like convince myself to crack open the book again, which that to me isn't really a 5-star read. So the book gave me everything I wanted. It's just that whenever I was outside of the book, it wasn't really that like impactful, I guess I should say. I am thrilled to be picking up the sequel, hopefully very soon, because as fun as this book was and as similar as it was to Mulan, I feel like the ending definitely left it open and it was different than Mulan's ending. So I feel like book 2 is not going to be a Mulan movie 2. Well guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for just jumping in this with me and watching me read my first books of 2026. I am so thrilled to know that I have read 4 books in the first week of this year. I think that is really just setting an incredible pace. And what a great start to this year. So if you guys are watching, please comment down below what your first book of 2026 was. Tell me about it. Tell me how many books you read in your first week. I am just so excited to hear about how everybody's first week is going. But that is all I have. Please subscribe. Please like this video. You know to do all the things. I love you guys, and I will see you next Monday. Bye.